Okay then, week 4 of the Overwatch League, and it has crept up on me mighty bloomin' quick. Yes, that's why this video is at a really odd time. Yeah, I know, right? I was going to release this video tomorrow, and then realized I can't because then the Mayhem tournament would have already started. So, here we are. This week is going to be really tough, especially for EU viewers because, well, the schedule is horrific. There's no easy way to put this. This is taking place on Hawaii time, right? So this is going to be very early hours of the morning for EU viewers. Rough. There's no other way to put it. So we're going to go through this. It's going to be very interesting. And obviously we got 4 teams in the May Melee for our 2021 version of it anyway. That's Shanghai Dragons and Chengdu Hunters from the East region, and Dallas Fuel and Florida Mayhem from the West region. A lot of teams, about 3 teams that we didn't expect to make it, Shanghai being one of them, Dallas and Florida. The NA region, or the West region, was very unexpected in terms of the way it turned out in the end. And it's very hard to call what's going to happen, because it depends who turns up and plays like they did, right? If you get Dallas and Florida turn up and play like they did last weekend, then you may see them just storm this tournament. However, if you don't, Chengdu Hunters are a sleeper team, like massively a sleeper team, and they could really do special stuff. I don't know, it's difficult. It's very difficult. So, let's take a look at this then. A lot of these fixtures, the people taking part of them are undecided, because, well, it's a knockout, it's the nature of elimination. Anyway, this is going to be a double elimination bracket, so we're going to see more than just the winner's bracket of fixtures. It means it's going to be spread out across days. There's not going to be a massive amount of fixtures on each day, but there's going to be around 2 or 3 each day. So, on Friday, merely hours away, this is starting, so Friday, May the 7th at 3 AM BST, that is, that is 10 PM? No. Yes, 10 PM EST, I believe. You will get the Shanghai Dragons versus the Florida Mayhem. Good thing for you NA viewers is that this is the first time you're going to see the East region teams at a rather respectable time for you guys to watch live, which is really good. So Shanghai Dragons versus Florida Mayhem. There's a lot of spice in this match, because you've got, first of all, got the Battle of Runaway, or X-Runaway. So this is Gangnam Jin versus Lee Jae-gon. This was a support line I wanted to see together in the Overwatch League, and unfortunately we never got that. However, it is going to be super interesting because, they're 2 really good supports. And they spent so much time together on Runaway, and created a incredible support duo, in my opinion one of the best in the world at the time. And to see them going up against each other, this is the first time we're going to see this, and it's going to be super interesting to see how that one pans out. Then you've got Fate returning to face his old team, obviously now on the Shanghai Dragons, was on Florida last year. That should be rather interesting. He'll obviously be going up against OG, and OG is, you know, if he turns up like he did last weekend, he'll beat Fate, he'll be the better main tank, but will he turn up like he did last weekend? I sincerely hope so, because if Dallas Fuel and Florida play like they did last weekend, I have less doubts about Dallas, I have more doubts about Florida. But if they turn up like they did last weekend, this is going to be some incredible Overwatch. And I think if they do turn up like they did last weekend, I think Mayhem can win this fixture. Don't get me wrong, I think the Mayhem have a lot of potential. I haven't backed them to win it, I've backed Shanghai Dragons to win this in a 5-mapper actually. But that's because I don't trust the Mayhem to turn up like they did. They had an incredible run, beating Toronto and then beating Washington. We expected them to beat Toronto, we expected that, but it was much heavier than we expected. However, we did not expect them to beat Washington, and that was a surprise, and in the way in which they did it, it was very good. If they can replicate that performance, this will be an incredibly close match nonetheless, but Mayhem will have a chance of winning it. However, the way the Shanghai Dragons played against Philadelphia Fusion was incredible. So, we can't take that away from the Shanghai Dragons, and so it becomes a very difficult match to call. I will back Shanghai Dragons to get this win though, and that means that Florida Mayhem will go down to the losers bracket. Doesn't mean you're automatically out, which is great to hear, obviously. After this, at 4:30 AM BST, yes, that's what, 11:30 at night EST, I believe. Dallas Fuel versus Chengdu Hunters. Now, this is the battle of the unpredictables, is what I'm going to coin this, because Chengdu Hunters are never predictable, let's be honest. They had a lot of talent coming into the season, they've demonstrated it so far. They can run wacky stuff, but they are also decent on the meta as well, which is something we don't say very often about the Chengdu Hunters. Dallas Fuel lack a hit scan, but has that hampered them? No. They went 6-0 last week, knocking out the San Francisco Shock. I still can't believe I'm saying that they knocked out the San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws. Two teams that could easily have both made it to this Hawaii tournament. So I think that's an incredible feat from Dallas Fuel. And therefore, who are we to doubt this Fuel side? Because if they can maintain that level of performance, I make them favourites for this May Melee tournament. And I don't think, well, we've never said that in Dallas Fuel's history. To make them favourites for a tournament is a massive step forward for a team that is obviously not ready, if you see what I mean. It's not got a hit scan, yet it's still popping off. And that's because Dallas Fuel playing to their strengths. Their Sparkle can play what he's good at and get value. And that's credit to coaching of the Dallas Fuel. They're opening up teams. And if there's one team I think it will not work against, it's Chengdu. However, I do think Dallas will win against Chengdu. I think Dallas will win 3-1 and knock down Chengdu Hunters to the losers bracket. I think it's going to be a very interesting weekend because this is the first time we see East versus West, and it's going to be a clash of styles somewhat. We're seeing more dive from the East. We are seeing a bit more brawl from the West. However, the brawl-heavy teams, you might notice, are not here. Philadelphia Fusion are a brawl-heavy team. So a lot of the brawl-heavy teams, San Francisco Shock are a brawl-heavy team. These teams will most likely elect to play dive. Mostly. The only team I would have doubt about that from would be the Shanghai Dragons. They may elect to play some form of brawl. But I think most of these teams, Florida Mayhem, by far their best comp is dive, double bubble. Dallas Fuel, putting Phyllis on the Winston, that's exactly what you want. Chengdu Hunters, they have never been a brawl team, let's be honest. And then Shanghai Dragons, they're more than comfortable to elect into that brawl, elect into that dive. So I think we will see a very dive-heavy weekend. Very, very dive-heavy weekend, very double bubble, very, we could see a lot of Bull Sigma, which we've been seeing a lot in the East region as well. Especially, I wouldn't be surprised if Chengdu Hunters run that, as well as Shanghai, but I think Shanghai will elect more for the Winston dive. More double bubble sort of thing. But when you look at the respective teams, if it does head down the Winston heavy route, that is really good for the likes of the Mayhem and Fuel. And I think, honestly, they can both outdo the East teams in a tank battle. So it's going to come down to a lot of the on-the-day sort of thing. Do we have a choker in this pack? There's another question. Do we have someone who gets to the big occasion and completely dumpsters? There is that possibility, although unknown chokers like Philadelphia Fusion, New York Excelsior, they're not here. A lot of these teams are in uncharted territory. Chengdu have never been in this position where they could win a tournament. Especially not at high stakes like this. Nor of Dallas Fuel. Shanghai Dragons have been before. Florida Mayhem have only been here once in the previous May Melee. And that was not as difficult a proposition as this, because that was not cross-region. So that was back when they were doing very, very well back then, but I don't think they won it. They ended up losing to San Francisco Shock. So there's a lot of unknown in this tournament. Now, these two matches are obviously taking place at horrific times for EU viewers. There will be encore matches that you will be able to earn jobs from at 5:30 p.m. BST for the Shanghai Dragons Florida match on the same day, and then 7 p.m. BST for the Dallas Fuel Chengdu Hunters match on the same day, Friday, May the 7th. So you can catch those two. They'll both be encore matches, and you'll be able to get your drops there if you cannot watch them early in the morning, which, to be quite honest, if you're EU, you're probably not going to be able to, because, yes, those are ungodly hours. Anyway, then we will go, obviously past that, we are going to go into the Elimination Bracket. That match will take place, the Elimination Round 1, I believe. That match will take place just after the Winners Bracket Round 2. So this is where it gets confusing, because I'm looking at two different things here. I'm looking at the bracket, which is done in Pacific time, and I'm looking at the fixtures, which is done in BST. Anyway, so the first match will be the Winners Bracket Round 2. This will be at 2 a.m. Saturday, May the 8th, 2 a.m. BST, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This will be the winners of the Winners Round 1 matches. So in my predictions, that's Shanghai versus Dallas. In your predictions, that might be different. I predicted Dallas to win this, 3-2, for your information. But, again, this is really not easy to predict. So, you will get Winners Bracket Round 2. Straight after that, we are going to see the Losers Bracket Round 1. This, what I predicted to be Florida Mayhem versus the Chengdu Hunters. I predicted Chengdu Hunters to win this one 3-1. Sorry, Florida, but I don't know. I just don't. I think Florida are good, I just don't trust them to get it done. So that'll be at 3:30 a.m. BST, that'll be 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. This is difficult. I'm gonna get my time zones mixed up inevitably. Then, after that match, this is at 5 a.m. BST, 9 p.m. Pacific time, you will get the Elimination or Losers Bracket Round 2. This will be the winner of the Elimination or Losers Bracket Round 1 and the loser of the Winners Bracket Round 2. This, in my predictions, is Chengdu Hunters versus the Shanghai Dragons. Now that would be spicy. Last time we saw that, Shanghai Dragons got swept 3-0. I would not anticipate that to happen again. Shanghai will come in much more prepared than they were before. So that's the Saturday fixtures. Then they all get encored Saturday evening for BST. So 5:30 p.m. BST, you'll have the Winners Bracket Round 2, sorry. At 7 p.m. BST, you will have the Losers Bracket Round 1, and then at 8:30 p.m. you will have the Elimination or Losers Bracket Round 2. That'll be those three encore matches. Again, all will have drops enabled, so you will be fine with that. And then, on the Sunday, you will have one match. That will be the grand final of the May Melee for 2021. It'll be the Winners Bracket Round 2 winner versus the Elimination Bracket Round 2 winner. So, the winner of the Losers Bracket versus the winner of the Winners Bracket. This, in my prediction, is Dallas Fuel versus Shanghai Dragons. That will be mega spicy if it does happen. I've predicted it as a 4-2 for Dallas Fuel. Yes, I am predicting them to win it. This will be at 2 a.m. British Summer Time on the Sunday. That'll be 6 p.m. Pacific Time. That will be 9 p.m. EST, something like that. Again, ungodly hours for the EU region. But it will be an encore match at 5:30 p.m. BST. That is somewhere in the region of 10:30 a.m. in America, EST. So that will be the encore match for the grand final. That is a lengthy match, most likely, so because the grand final will go first to 4. So yeah, that's going to be a really chunky one. It could go all the way to 4-3. It could be 4-2, could be 4-1, could be 4-0. We will see at least 4 maps though. So it's going to be a long match. And hopefully it will be the longest. Like, we want to see a 4-3, right? We want to see an absolute showdown. So, okay. That is the main melee. Again, expect this weekend to be heavily dive oriented. A lot of Winston, a lot of Hammond. Probably quite a bit of Zarya Diva, maybe a bit of Sigma as well. Wouldn't expect too much Rhine and people like that. Could have serious implications actually for like the percentages in terms of the hero bans coming up for the next month's tournament, June Joust. So keep an eye out for that. Remember, this is still being played on an old patch, no Diva Gumba Stomp or anything like that. That doesn't happen yet. We will probably see that in the June Joust. That should be funny. I will be back, obviously, with the results of this incredible weekend of fixtures once I've watched them, either on the Encore or very early in the morning. I don't know which one. All of my predictions will be in my Discord server as per usual, and I may do a little bit on Twitter, who knows. Keep an eye out, keep talking. There's a sentence somewhere that is about to come out of my mouth. Keep an eye on their socials, because that's obviously what I was leading into with that segue, and then it went completely wrong. Socials for myself and Illusion Gaming are in the video description, as always, for Twitter and everything. Give them a follow, join the Discord, have a good discussion. It's going to be an incredible weekend of fixtures, and I am going to be with it every single step of the way. But I am going to leave it here for this one. So thank you guys so much for this video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.